Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with the Heat for the Streets, man. It's aka Showtime. Look, man. Um, in the wake of Lonzo Ball, um, steadily improving, um, throughout the season, and also this three-game win streak that we're seeing, by the Los Angeles Lakers. And Lonzo's improved play, Kyle Kuzma's improved play, Julius Randle, even though he didn't fucking score, against San Antonio. Brook Lopez, who had a bad game, who I think should be used as trade bait. I'm sorry. He needs to be used as trade bait. Try to trade him and maybe a first round pick to New Orleans or something for DeMarcus Cousins. Try to trade for, a decent shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? So KCP can stay on the bench or something, and Joe Carson can stay on the bench or whoever. But they gonna need to make some moves with Brook Lopez, maybe Julius Randle, because I think Julius Randle can play off the bench. But Brook Lopez is not a starting NBA center anymore. He's not. It's done. He's finished. He's done. He, he's done. You know what I'm saying? And this is my whole take on the Los Angeles Lakers. They need to fire Luke Walton. I've been saying this shit for months. I've been saying this shit I've been saying this shit since this year, early on, around probably like game 20. They need to fire Luke Walton. Luke Walton had the benefit, just like Alvin Gentry, just like I think Mike Brown will, but Mike Brown actually was a lot more accomplished than both of them. Now Alvin Gentry did get Phoenix to the playoffs, back in 2010, where they lost in 6 games. I think it was 6 games, um, against the Los Angeles Lakers. That was their second title run that the Lakers went on, in 3 years. Um, they lost to Boston the first year, got back against Orlando, which everybody thought was supposed to be a Boston and LA rematch, and then obviously they won the third one. Um, they won the third. They won the third finals that they were in, the Boston rematch. The second time they played Boston. And Alvin Gentry was the coach, for that Suns team that lost to the Lakers in the Western Conference Final. But Mike Brown is obviously going to have a distinct advantage getting coaching jobs because of what he's done in Golden State, especially during that playoff run. And everybody knows Mike Brown's, history. When he coached the Lakers, they were actually good. They were above 500 when they fired him for no unexplained fucking reason to hire Mike D'Antoni. You know what I'm saying? In LA. He got Cleveland with that weak ass roster and LeBron James, you know what I'm saying, to the NBA Finals in '07 against the San Antonio Spurs because they played defense and they had a transcendent player in LeBron James, who even at 22 was looked at as a good player. He transitioned into a great player when when he made that historic playoff run and then beat Detroit the way that he did in the East Final. So Mike Brown will probably get some coaching opportunities if he decides to leave. Maybe take over for Pop. You know what I'm saying? If Pop retires San Antonio, maybe go back to San Antonio. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, take over for one of these, one of these coaches in the NBA if a coaching job come available this summer. But Luke Walton is the beneficiary of that system. Same way Alvin Gentry was before him, and same way Mike Brown will be after him because Mike Brown is obviously going to get another coaching job. He's definitely going to get another coaching job based on what he did last year in that playoff run before Steve Kerr came back. And obviously this year if they win the title again, he's going to get some looks. But Luke Walton is not a good head coach. Or at least he's not a good head coach for this team right here. Luke Walton's system is a slow, half court based, methodical offense, that doesn't preach moving the ball. And I know that because I watched the games and Lonzo doesn't move the ball. The Lakers don't move the ball in rotation. They don't have any motion. They don't have any set plays that they can run on a consistent basis to counteract the defense that they're playing against. And the one person I said that should be able to take over for Luke Walton if he gets fired, either this year or next, if they don't get it done, one is Mark Jackson, because I think Mark Jackson had success early on with Golden State. You know what I'm saying? He turned Steph Curry into a superstar. I mean, obviously Steph had to stay healthy. He was always good, but Mark Jackson kind of turned him. He kind of put him on the map by putting the ball in his hands the majority of the time and letting him work. So he has success with that. And that was pretty much his only coaching job after after leaving the ESPN booth in 2011, 2012 or something like that. And Mark Jackson should be tops of the list. Now I don't know why he hasn't got another coaching job. Some people say he's been blackballed. Some people say that he doesn't want to coach anymore. Whatever the case is, he should get another job. But the second guy on the list is a guy that I've always liked, and is a guy I thought has always been overlooked from the field days to his days in Indiana. With I think Jim O'Brien and Frank Vogel, he was sitting on the bench with them, and other guys like that. And the other guy is Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw was, like I say, he sat on the bench as an assistant to I think Jim O'Brien when he was in Indiana. Because I do remember seeing him on the bench for Indiana as an assistant coach. And obviously Phil, he was assistant coach for years under Phil with Kobe and Pau Gasol and all the championship years or whatever. So Brian Shaw has some coaching experience, and obviously he got a job as the Denver Nuggets head coach back in 2013. I'm sure. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like 2013. And I was excited for the roster because I knew that Brian Shaw's system was a running gun, fast-paced offense that preached running, and not kind of like the 7 seconds or less offense that Mike D'Antoni ran, because that was more of a half court, set screens and pick and roll offense. Brian Shaw's offense was more kind of like what you saw with the Clippers. Kind of like what you saw with the Clippers with Chris Paul. Run up, run up the half court, try to get an easy fast break layup or lob or, move the defense with lots of motions and, try to set up a good, an easy jump shot or easy layup with cuts and screens and everything like that. And that's the one thing the Lakers don't do under Luke Walton that I think that Brian Shaw can do for Lonzo Ball and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, all these athletic guys that he has. And remember, at the time that Brian Shaw had that Denver roster, we want to talk about small ball in the NBA. The biggest guy that they had, I think, on that team was who? Wilson Chandler, like 6'7", 6'8". So they didn't even really have. I think they had like JaVale McGee, and like when he was in Denver, like 7'1", and he was starting for them. But other than that, they were a small ball lineup. You know what I'm saying? I think Brian Shaw could work some wonders with that roster, and I think he can get them into a nice rhythm, a nice flow. He can lock them in defensively, which they've been lackluster at. Um, and yeah, man. I mean, I just think Brian Shaw needs an opportunity. If Mark Jackson doesn't want to coach anymore, or he he just can't get a coaching job, I think Brian Shaw should be the next one in line. I think Magic and Jeannie Buss should think about hiring in house and keeping Brian Shaw around. Try to see if they can get um try to see if they can get Brian to a try to see if they can get Brian a job. Um, but anyway, man, let me know what y'all think, man, about